Okay, but I mean, didn't the three have to vote on it?
No, I didn't vote
Harold
on
did
it.
not vote on it. No.
The
Besides,
chief,
it's a personnel
the
issue.
chief, Jane, and I did.
We can't discuss it.
Us three.
Personnel issue.
I guess just not vote if you want to, but that's about it.
Yeah.
The details you probably
Yeah.
know. I mean, what any the package or anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
Can we ask how that vote went? Who voted what?
Well, Kent Burkheiser was appointed.
Well, we
Frank
understand
and I
that,
voted
but
on
was
it.
it unanimous with all three of you?
No, Carol didn't vote.
I understand that, but you had three voters, correct?
No, we had two voters.
I said the police chief.
She just said the police chief.
Yourself and
Police
Frank.
chief did not vote.
But you said he did.
No, he didn't vote.
Did
I didn't say he
hear
did.
that? Oh, okay.
Police
So
chief
it was
did
only
not
two
vote.
voters.
We had two voters.
Okay.
Exactly. And Kent Burkheiser was appointed.
Frank, what did you vote?
Am I allowed to answer that, Tim? I don't know.
Yeah, just on the vote itself, yeah, oh yeah.
I voted for Phil Riley.
What? No, you did not.
Sure I did.
Well, two voters and a different.
Excuse me, you and I were the only ones who voted.
Exactly.
And Kent Burkheiser was appointed. And you said yes, and I said
I
yes.
told the chief that I voted for Phil.
What?
Yes, I did.
So
The chief didn't vote.
So who's on first?
Yeah, three. I'd like to know.
I certainly did, Jane. That's,
Certain.
I made a point of that.
But in minutes to that vote?
No.
How do we verify the vote then? We have a person saying he didn't vote the way you're saying he did.
Well, there were two voters.
Yes.
Okay, so if I would have voted one way and Frank would have voted one way, we wouldn't have had a vote, right? And Rick did not.
Right, I think that's what the question we're asking.
Okay, so there were two voters. I voted yes, and he voted yes.
Frank, you say he voted yes. He says he voted no.
Well, you figure. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to figure it. That's why I'm asking the
Well,
question.
I'm just telling you.
So what do you?
I can't say whether, you know, I mean, I'm not, that's it, that's all I
Jane, how
can
did we
say.
verify this? And Frank looks stunned. So Frank, you want to speak up and say who you voted for and how we can rectify this?
Ask the chief.
Yes,
It's the
Staples.
chief.
Yes, Chief Staples.
The only ones that were there were the three of them.
Yes,
So what
Chief
happens
Staples.
in this case, Mr. McManus, if Frank is saying that he voted the opposite way, then obviously, you know, there's an injustice here. It needs to be
Unfortunately, I wasn't
rectified.
there.
He wasn't there.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I wasn't part of it. I wasn't present.
I would tell you, the
Can there
chief
be
did
a
not
revote?
vote.
If they want to bring it back up. I mean,
Okay.
He told me, Frank told me that he voted for Phil Riley. Roman told me how well he handled himself, how, you know, how the whole process went.
She's talking about Phil Riley.
Yeah.
Well, I will say they were all excellent candidates. They really
That's not
were.
the question here, Jane.
I know.
What's in question right now is the fact that we may have an appointed chief that really wasn't appointed. So how do we rectify that?
I don't know, don't ask me. All I know is. What am I supposed to do?
Okay, who do we
Where
ask?
do we go from
The
here?
police chief, I will ask the police chief to come in and tell exactly how. Okay?
If
That's
we can't
it.
ask you though, Jane, who do we
Well,
ask?
I am telling you, you don't believe what I'm telling you.
No, you're saying, don't ask me. Who do we ask?
I said, didn't you just, I said the police chief, I'll ask the police chief to come in and give an answer to that, okay? Because he was there, Frank was there, and I was there.
Okay.
Let's see your phone, Frank.
Yeah, he's in here. He should be.
I never expected to hear. Well, I don't know. I get the I don't know part. I don't know, I'll find out. That would have been good.
Rick, can you come into the supervisor's meeting? You just gotta come in. Hi.
Nice. So.
Rick,
In all honesty, Jane, with him doing what he's doing, he doesn't have a popularity thing being going. Do you really think he'd want another Werkheiser? He would vote another Werkheiser, then he doesn't stand a chance as it is.
That has
I
nothing to
can't-
do with, that has
It
not,
does,
but that has
it
nothing
does.
to do with.
It's all in the same
nothing,
package.
Nothing at all. I made my point clear from the beginning of Rick's, where's he, next door? All the way through, I thought he was part of the vote.
Not my fault, I'm not a planning commission.
We agree.
Dirty, no, don't tell me you agree, but I'm home. You're fine. Oh, Lord. I don't know,
Frank voted for, one gentleman, you voted for another. Who breaks the tie? Rick breaks the tie, and that's the gentleman that's coming in now?
Well, let me see, maybe sixth cousin, something like that. Wait.
That's not related.
No, that's not.
That's not related?
That's not.
So, are you saying on record that you're not related to Ken Werkheiser? That's all I wanna know.
I said maybe sixth cousin.
Maybe sixth cousin.
Maybe.
Is that a conflict of interest?
No.
No, God.
West Virginia.
Sure.
I'm not here.
If, we were talking about these EDUs for the sewer system, and I believe in Stroud Township, if a business was charged one EDU and something changed within your business and your water volume went up, 3 years later, they could charge another EDU, correct?
That's right.
That'll be the same way here, correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah, there will be an average time period put in there, Jim, I think it is, I
Yeah,
think,
they might look at
I
your-
think they look over 12, right now, we're looking at having a 12-month period. If you
Right.
had a bump on an average basis, then it would go up.
Right.
Figured out what that business manager, what the pay was gonna be. I think we kinda discussed that last time, but we never really came up with an answer, did we?
Yeah, well, this year it would be, well, who knows when we're gonna be hiring this person, so we figured, we have 40,000 in the budget for this year.
For that, I mean, you're not talking for a year, you're talking
No,
for the
that would
rest of
probably
the year.
be like for, the rest of this year, whenever, well, if we say we hire in September or something, it wouldn't be 40,000 either.
What will it be yearly?
Well, we have to, it depends on their experience, it depends on a lot of things, so that's just what we budgeted this year, that's all I can tell you. But, we have to wait until we find out what kind of experience this person has and the knowledge that we're at, and,
But we're
how
probably
they
looking
meet
at
the
that,
requirements that we're asking.
we're probably looking at like an $80,000 a year job.
Probably, it would be around 70.
Plus their benefits. Plus their benefits.
Plus benefits. Hi, Rich. They have a little problem here, Rich.
Oh, yeah.
Regarding the, appointment of Kent Werkheiser, okay, I'm saying that I voted for Kent and Frank is saying he voted for Phil Ryan. Now, is that what you saw when you were there at that meeting?
As I remember, you said that you'd have to go along with what my recommendation was.
I told you I think Phil did the best in the interview.
That's true. In the beginning, you did say that.
And I felt as if I was not qualified with any of us, and the office is qualified, that I'd like to see it go in front of a 5 chief board, like, or some kind of board that they would put together, that people that were qualified to pick the person the best. But I said that I thought Phil held it together the best out of everyone.
At the interview.
Yeah,
Yes.
the interview.
Yeah, you.
And I understood, and you know, you have to tell me if I'm wrong, I understood you were the tiebreaker at the meeting. And you had said that who you believed in, and that broke the tie of that totally, of who was gonna be in, because Jane said at the meeting that she would choose who you thought was best because you knowing the men better than anyone. And I said, you know, well, it's 2-1, and that's the way it goes.
At the end, did you say that you'd have to
Yes, you
put,
did.
put your faith in me
In
as to
you.
my
Yes,
you did.
recommendation?
Most definitely, I said yes, that I would
Yes, you did.
say that you would be the best person to pick who's qualified for the job.
Great.
Most definitely.
I
I'm
agree
not
that-
saying I didn't say that.
I'm agreeing that you did say that you had it lined up because you took some notes and you did some scoring.
Yes,
And you had it lined up, as I remember, Phil, Sean, Ken.
right.
Is that correct?
Showing both men,
Yep.
showing both men, which I publicly said.
But he did agree that Kent worked hard. He did agree to that, because
Well,
I said that.
Because it was 2-1, and that's how I respectfully
That's
took the
it.
vote.
Right.
It never came up that you and Jane voted for Kent, which
Rick,
I
you didn't
said,
vote. You didn't vote.
I understood you did, because when we talked, you said at the meeting that you felt Kent was the most qualified person.
That's correct, I did say that.
That's, and I said, oh, you know, that's 2-1, that's the way this works here. If it's 3 of us and it's 2-1, it's the way it works. We publicly have said that at many meetings. Well, that was the same. It was the same. I told you who I thought was qualified. No laws held. I said to you, if we have to say it to the men, I'd say it to the men. And it came up that, and when you said that you felt Ken was more qualified, well, you're the person that could pick the more qualified person. Then Jane replied that she will choose who you choose because you're qualified to do it.
And my decision was totally based on what I've seen in performance.
Exactly.
Of the
I'm not
three.
saying,
And-
this, I want you to understand how this started. I'm sitting here and I'm asked for the audience, I asked him if I can answer the question. And he said, yeah, you can answer. I said, well, I voted for Phil. And she said, no, you didn't. I says, wait a minute, she voted, you voted for Kent. She said she would go along with what you said. I told you outright in the beginning that I felt Phil was more qualified. And if I remember right, that was one of the things that was said to me, and I'm going to say everything, we're going to say it, that an interview is in everything. In that position, is performance, there's many other things. And there's nothing wrong with that, that's what was said. But I said that I felt Phil was more qualified by his interview.
That's correct. I don't remember that we actually took, I don't remember anybody saying I vote for this person. Or I
Neither
vote for
did
that.
I, neither do I, you're 100% right.
That it was that, I said that Ken would be my choice based on his performance and what I've seen, and that,
Jane said she would go by your
So
choice.
did you,
right.
and so did
Yes.
you.
and your comment was something like,
Well, you know better.
yes.
Yes, you know better because you're
to
the
go
chief.
along with that.
It was 2-1, but I made my point right from the beginning of who I felt. I didn't pull no punches, and I'm not saying